In the middle of conflict, where lies the power of understanding, mediation is where justice meets resolution and voices find a peace. I welcome you all to the first national mediation competition by Dispute Resolution Hub in collaboration with Mintage Legal. Well, now I would like to welcome Dr. Moksha Kalyanram Abhiramula onto the dais. I'm profoundly honored to invite Advocate Shri Sunil Goud with a huge round of applause. Well, now I feel immensely honored to invite Advocate Shri Naveen Kumar Vasireddy onto the dais with a huge round of applause. Well, now I would like to invite Advocate Shanti Bushan Rao Secretary Telangana High Court Advocates Association. In our Indian culture, every journey begins with a sacred light. And now to officially commence this auspicious event, we will honor the tradition by lighting the ceremonial lamp.
Coming to the mediation, nowadays mediation is getting importance. And in the light of 2023 Mediation Act, I wish you all the best for getting the acquiring skills and required this one. But compared with Bombay, Delhi advocates, we are a little bit backward and we had to fill the gap to jump into that bandwagon. And I wish one and all, wish you all the best to participate in this mediation event. Thank you.
You might have read history of 1970s and 80s. You had those histories labeled as garage stories. What are the garage stories? Today the Microsoft, today the Facebook, today the Apple, today the Infosys, today the TCS were the garage stories of 1970s and 80s. Now you can make out what am I talking about. In every industry, there will be a 3 decades time. That's called a cycle. Every 3 decades, there will be one branch of the industry which takes the lead and fetches the society its best of its services and fetches its professionals best of their professional advantages. Now it's time where the legal industry garage stories started for mediation. All that we know, or majority of our fraternity brethren knows that we are into litigation, nothing more than that. If it goes beyond mediation, that used to be called as settlement out of the court, right? So that was a voluntary activity, but now laws are being made to make that out of the court activity into a specifically enacted statutory subject. As part of that, adoption by the legal industry, now we have come to a branch called mediation, right? So here today we are, encouraging, training, educating, and inspiring our members to adopt this new garage story, or you can say revolution. And I wish the stars here become the, stars of tomorrow's, Facebook or Apple in the legal industry. And I really congratulate Mr. Kalyanram Garu for providing such a platform in the mid of the Hyderabad. In these times, he has come up with such a wonderful center here. I really congratulate you, sir. And thank you all for inviting me and honoring me with being part of this. Thank you.
First, I request you all to give a big round of applause to Kalyanram and team for providing you all a big event, national mediation competition. As we were discussing with both the brothers, Telangana and Hyderabad started becoming like Delhi, as we have so many law firms in Delhi. So now we have started. And the same time, mediation is not new to this country. Since hundreds of years, even now in villages, every sarpanch, every MLA, they do mediation. They'll solve the problems. They'll give resolution. But that will not be a legal one. If we do this, it will be legal one. Because every day we will be in the courts, and public will start believing mediation centers. Mediation is the only way to give peace to a litigant, that we have to do propaganda. No judge is now ready to give a judgment immediately. Few courts are not giving judgments up to 1 year. After hearing everything, after final hearings, they are not able to give. So these things we have to encourage, and whoever have come, I appreciate you all, and the same time Kalyanram and team for giving you all a big opportunity to come to this competition. Once again, I thank each and every person giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
It was a really enriching experience for me as a lawyer also to see what the budding lawyers are putting efforts in order to be successful lawyers. My experience as a in the final round was also quite interesting because I got reminded of my own days as a law student. Our professor, Mr. P.C. Juneja, used to say that law should enter your blood and veins. So I give this advice to each and every one of you that law should enter into your blood and veins. Only then you are a successful lawyer. Apart from that, when you are addressing a problem, as in the final round, you should limit to the problem, but you should also see the legality of it. Where are the two mediators? If I could kindly have a word with them. Harsh, you must have realized that your role was far more passive than your colleague. Why was it so? Why was it so? Do you have a reason for that? And my lady, whatever you said was really good, really inspiring, really worth mentioning. When one party is giving a valuation of the property, your first question, both of you, your first question should have been what is the counter valuation from the other party? But you did not ask for it. So please have a seat. I only pulled you up so that you learn. That is the only reason for me to address you by your name. All right. And as far as the husband party, kindly get up. If other party is saying that we only want 30% or 70% of the property, why are you more than willing to part with your 30%? I don't understand. You should have fought for 100% of the property. Even if you are coming to mediation, your first step is to get the maximum out of the proposition. It is a business negotiation after all. And as far as the other party was concerned, Mr. Heather, as a counsel, you did not counsel your client very nicely, I must say, because you have come to mediation and you are still agitating about custody of the child, which has already been decided by the court. Her role as Om Prakash was very pro mediation because the very first word that she uttered in the mediation room was that we are here to amicably settle. She was pro mediation from the word go. She was willing to go down to any extent which you might have said in order to arrive at a settlement. But you were more or less only wanting the custody of the child. You are not even interested in the property. When they have given you a valuation, you could have said, you give me the money for the 70% of the property, you keep the property. You did not ask for it. All right. Okay, please have a seat. So it was a very enriching, it is a simulator. Just as a pilot, goes through a simulator before flying an aeroplane. You all have gone through a simulator. It was an enriching experience for me as well. Now I take my seat and thank you very much for coming.
Now I request Justice Yethirajulu sir to please give us few words.
You all know, after the invention of alternate dispute resolution, the conciliation and the arbitration proceedings are legalized. The Lok Adalat is also legalized, but the mediation was not legally recognized. The government of India brought a legislation, the Mediation Act, that was passed by the Parliament. The act can be fully utilized to attract the people for mediation. More particularly, how the mediator has to conduct himself to convince the both parties. The mediator should also play a judge's role. So, the parties to accept a particular person as a mediator, he must repose 100% confidence on them. So, the confidence that he will correctly guide them, that the mediator do not mislead them, that he will not join hands with any of the parties, and that he will give proper assistance to enable the parties to come to a compromise through mediation. So therefore, whoever have decided to act as a mediator, not only in one case, in many types of cases, he must be a psychologist first to read the minds of the people, and he must be acquainted with the fundamentals of law, and he must be able to visualize what is the likely result of the court if they continue in the court. So suppose if there is a dispute between two persons regarding money transaction, a 1 lakh is due from him, a particular person, and the interest rate will be about 18%. So the one person demands that he should pay 18% interest also. The other man says that he is not in a position to pay interest, but he is ready to pay the principal amount and some reasonable interest. So that you are able to convince the party who is the creditor, if you receive the amount with lesser interest now itself, you will be able to invest this amount in some other venture. Thereby you will get more benefit. Suppose if you continue the litigation, the court will not grant more interest, 8% interest, unless you prove that it is for the purpose of commercial transaction. Otherwise, only 6% interest will be granted by the court. So therefore, you must be able to convince the creditor it is a fit matter to go for compromise. At the same time, you can also convince the other party. If you go to court litigation, you may have to pay advocate fees and you have to spend so much money for going to the court repeatedly, and there will be loss of interest, and you may be burdened with more interest because it will multiply in course of time. At a time you have to pay so much amount. Therefore, it is desirable to come to a common figure of interest. It is better to go for compromise. And if you negotiate with both parties by convincing them as to why they must go for a settlement, in such circumstances, the parties will be able to come to a compromise through mediation. Thereby, the dispute can be settled once for all. Like that, in matrimonial matters also, we have seen there will be differences between the wife and husband. The family members will try to convince them. Then the village elders will try to convince them. Our local elders will try to convince them. Relations will try to convince them. Afterwards, as a last resort, they will go to court. By that time, the differences will be further widened and it will be very difficult to convince them. So the husband says that No, I will not allow my wife to have another marriage. Let her suffer. The husband, the wife also says that my career has been spoiled, but I should spoil the career of other fellow also. So, under those circumstances, we in one place, when I was the district judge, we arranged one Lok Adalat. There are 3 or 4 women judges. So we entrusted them one couple. You all the 4 judges, you use your mind and try to convince the couple to be together. So for 2 days, they tried, convinced. Ultimately, that man said, "Okay, I am ready to take it." And after some time, he said that I will go to bathroom and come back. From bathroom, he jumped. So all the effort made by those people to convince the couple failed. So therefore, in matrimonial matters, you should be very careful and deal with the situation tactfully and try to convince them. So therefore, all of you try to master that subject and specialize it, and then apply it. And I hope that you will be successful in course of time. Thank you very much for giving me the.
Since it's a mediation competition, we'll announce the mediators first. So the runner-up for the mediation is Harshavardhan from Adarsh Law College. The winner mediator is Ragini, Sandagandi Law College. Runner-up team is Ramya Vani and Ali Haidar from B.R. Ambedkar College. The winner team, Harshika and Arvind from Nalsar. Please come. So we want to felicitate them with the support which they have extended for assessing this particular event.
May I please call upon Anita ma'am, advocate. Next I call upon Achyut sir, advocate. Next I call upon Shraddha ma'am, advocate. We would also like to facilitate our final round judges. So may I please call upon Dr. T. Subhasini ma'am. Next I call upon Manish Sharma sir, advocate. Now we will be distributing the certificate of participation.
Ramya Vani Chauhan, Ragna, Jatin Teja, Ragini, Arvind, Harshika, Vaishali, Navya, Indrajit Singh, Ali Haidar.